everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me. Happy whatever day it is today, because I film these usually the day before or something. I don't know. But we're here, and you're here with me, and I appreciate you. I'm getting old. I started realizing, like, here's my big flex, right? I had 20/20 vision up until, like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that. I still have immaculately long vision, but I can't read something up close, right? Like this guitar strings, right? Without glasses, that's how far I can read that. Is anybody dealing with this? Like, should I just get the surgery and get back to having good vision? Anyway, today we're talking about the Jatie vlogs. We haven't talked about them in a while. Their baby's coming soon, so obviously they're gonna be, I'm following it to see the explosion of subscribers and all that content and the money that they're gonna make on it. Apparently in this video, he interviews her and they talk about the exploitation children, what they're gonna do, and I'm sure it's gonna be real shitty. This is like the new crop that I've been talking about, which is Matt and Abby, Jatie vlogs, Della vlog. They all like, let's do a podcast. Like, you have nothing good to say. Okay, you're not good at this. You're not funny. I stop. Okay, Matt and Abby's is probably the most popular, which we're gonna do that one tomorrow. But Matt and Abby's has when they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They don't, because it's like listening to teenagers talk at Taco Bell. Okay, so let's stop. But let's snark too. Let's go. So I don't really like these two, but in the overall grand scheme of things, they're not the worst of the worst so far, except they're like, we don't like to flex that we're rich, but we also have $100,000, $200,000 cars that we drive around. So it's not like being rich is the thing. People stop buying depreciating assets. Like, if there's one thing, if you're going to be rich, fine, cool, right? Oh, I was going to buy those shelves, but stop buying depreciating assets. Can we be there? If you have money or you're coming into money, you never had money before, whatever the case may be, this is something I've learned as I've gotten older. Stop buying depreciating assets if you have cash. Like, everybody knows a rich friend or two, or if you go to church, there's always rich people. Go tap into the brain of a rich person. I'm not rich. Don't tap into my brain. That's the one thing. Go learn from the people who are rich, how they got there and how they stayed there. Because all these family vlogs, none of them are going to stay there, right? Buying freaking McLarens and shit. That's ridiculous. And everybody's like, Josh, you have a Tesla. Yeah, I have a Tesla. I bought a Tesla 4 years ago when I got a job like 88 kilometers away from my house. That's 176 kilometers or something round trip. You know how much gas is? So, and we get a rebate. So don't go thinking that because I have a Tesla, I'm some rich dude. That's not the case, yo. Teslas are actually very affordable now, and you should go get one. Use my code. Don't forget to use my code. Cool? All right. Let's get into this garbage heap of a pile of garbage.
Roles are reversed, and today I am in the hot seat, unfortunately.
I love to, because I have it, you see me look up, they have their questions laid out in timestamps, so thank God they did this. Because I don't want to go through all of it, right? Like, do you miss being single? I don't give a shit. How do you respond to hate? Which definitely we're going to look at. Josh gives me the ick. Absolutely. I don't know if that's me they're talking about or him. We'll see. Will you love the baby more than me? Stupid question. Have you ever faked it? Stupid question. But yeah, is being a virgin a turnoff? What kind of questions are these? Why is it hard to decide where to eat? No, who cares? Would you still love me with a dad bod? We're checking that one out. TMI, which is probably too much information. Do girls secretly want to touch guys' buttholes? Are these guys Christians? Can we call other girls hot? Are periods really that bad? Why do girls? Oh my gosh. Here we go. And then obviously, because the whole thing is, does size matter? Is our big draw? You're talking about wieners. Come chat with us. And it's the last question on the thing because they want you to listen to the end. Okay. But anyway, let's get to this.
That is right. I'm going to be speaking for the guys today and asking KDB.
Bro, put a real shirt on. Okay. Can you not wear just stop. Okay. We get it. You got muscles. All right.
All the questions that guys are too afraid to ask girls. So she's going to be speaking for the girls.
You're going to speak for all the girls? You are. JD Vlogs is going to speak for all the girls. I'm sure all the girls are like, yo, let her, she is our spokesperson. JD here is our spokesperson for all the girls. Just like you're the spokesperson for all the guys who do roids, I guess.
Speaking for the guys today, yeah. It is Your Couple Tea podcast. Your boy Josh here.
Your couple tea. Your couple tea, get it? Because they're a couple, but it's like almost saying cuppa, but it's couple. The naming you guys do, just on point, fleek, zip zang, cap, Riz, right? Right, Tyson? All the things I said, right? Name some more I missed.
I'm your girl, Katie, and...
I'm your girl, Katie. Dude, can you wear longer shorts? Thanks. Just checking. I can see your balls. balls.
This is an interesting one. Something about pregnancy. I don't think we've ever talked about this. But how are you going to respond to hate comments about being a mom? And let me...
And you'll get them. And not just from the exploitation side. Like, put that aside, because we'll talk about that in a second. Right? But yes, have you ever just read comments from new moms, like in a new mom, like, and you know what? You deserve it. If you're gonna put your shit out there, you're opening it up. You want to get comments, unsolicited comments, have a baby in the world, not even just on the internet. Okay? When my wife was pregnant, again, I've said this a million times, there was like 100 boxes of diapers because we were getting ready, and she got so many comments on that we had too many diapers that made my wife cry. Okay, just from regular people who weren't trying to be angry or mean, but that's like. There's, for some reason, when it comes to new moms, old moms feel like I have to comment some shit that doesn't even matter. So get ready.
Tell you, once you bring a child into this world, the comments, the haters like come out of nowhere. And I don't think you guys can hear it because obviously it's not.
We can hear it.
Picking up on the mic. But my
it is picking up.
Dog is going absolutely nuts right now.
I feel like they probably can. Oh, it's just a package.
Yeah.
What'd you order? Here. Let's talk about your shopping problem. What'd you order?
It's about you, I think.
Answer my question. And the haters come out of nowhere, by the way, when you have a child. So.
They honestly really do.
They do. So here's the thing, right? So how do you mitigate that? Don't put it on the internet. You know, you especially don't exploit the child, right? Like what Della Vlogs is doing right now, they're absolutely... And I know that Della Vlogs is their arch nemesis. Of course they are. But they're absolutely exploiting this child. And then when you get all these comments like, don't comment on... I only want good stuff. No. And you know what? Sometimes there is a comment out there, like if your baby's neck is hanging wrong, then you should probably correct certain things. Maybe take some stuff. But it's for some reason, new moms generally, right, do not like taking unsolicited advice. Give me all the advice, please. What am I doing?
Even like being pregnant, like the amount of hate you get for random things, and people are like, you're trying to kill your baby, you're drinking coffee. I'm like, first of all, why would you ever say that to someone? Like someone's trying to kill the baby that they purposely got pregnant. Like that's like kind of just a effed up thing to say, first of all. And
hey, you chose to be on the internet. You make tons of money on the internet. Why don't these guys ever say this? I think the only person I've ever heard say this was Abby from Matt and Abby. She's like, people don't want to hear this. And it was good. She's right. But like, this is it. You chose this path, so deal with it. That's life. Enjoy. Buckle up.
Second of all, I've seen like other influencers who are moms get attacked, and the type of attack that like, you can't do that, you're a terrible mom. It's like moms, I think, sometimes think that their way is the only way, and they don't realize that every kid is different, every situation is different.
Sure, but there is a universal standard for care, like babies' necks and shit. Do you know what I mean? Like the way that there are some comments people will say there is like co-sleeping versus there are some things that are gray. I do this. A lot of things work, right? How did we survive all these millions of years having babies? And like now we're like, okay, we have to have monitors on their heart, and you know we've survived up to this point. Obviously, technology has helped, but yeah, you're gonna get a lot of comments based on what you want to do. So if you don't want to get any comments, don't show anybody your baby or how you mother. Then that's the answer. That's it. No one can say anything if you don't show them anything.
They might have a different situation with their husband, with their kids. And it's like, there's multiple ways to parent kids.
100%.
And like, as a parent, it's their choice. So it's like,
Is it their choice though? And she's right. And what she's probably alluding to also is like the exploitation of children. It's their choice to exploit their children. And they're right. She's right. It is your choice to do it. It's not illegal to do it. It is immoral, and it is crazy and gross, and it is becoming way, way, way like gross. And there's like so many people calling out this type of behavior, and it's getting very loud, right? And very for good reason, right? But these people who decide that they and it's been louder than it ever has been before. Even back in the day when Micah and everybody was covering that stuff, we didn't know the depravity, the depths of how dangerous this was, even until like even a year and a half ago when everything started really getting crazy. We did not know. The biggest thing on this channel was when we uncovered the predator playlists and the actual engagement analytics of people like who are watching little kids on Instagram and YouTube. That was the game changer. That opened up a lot of things for a lot of people, right? And so now we know, and it's being called out left, right, and center. And people who are bringing new babies into the situation, they know more than ever how bad it is, and they don't care. That, to me, makes them worse. Because at least back in the day, nobody really realized how bad it was until the proof and evidence comes forward about how bad it is. And then when people know the proof and evidence of how bad it is, but continue to do the same shit the others did, they're not listening, right? And they are choosing money and fame over the safety of their children. There's just no other way to put it.
I think it'll be frustrating reading some comments, but like I really don't think I'm gonna let it bother me too much.
You will let it bother you.
Because
you already let it bother you.
Just say it.
What?
The funniest one to me is
if he says exploitation and he thinks it's funny,
and it's like agreed to it or
consent. He thinks that's funny. This douche nozzle thinks that that's funny. You think it's funny that your kids can't consent, and you think that's a funny thing? Are you out of your mind, you dink? What are you saying?
Oh yeah, your kid didn't consent to be on social media, like
why are you saying it like that?
In the womb, like, and you're gonna post about your child.
They were.
I don't care about the womb, and I've said that a million times. The baby's not out there yet. You want to exploit your pregnancy, fine. And it's a big bucks. Let's be real. Although the reason I cover those who do it, because I know it's leading up to the exploitation. These people have admitted more than once that they're going to exploit their child and they don't give a shit. And they're saying it right now. When you say like, it's consent for your child. When you say it with that voice, it means you're not taking it seriously. That is a real thing, dumbass. It is a real thing. I'm not going as far as to the crazies and the crunchy granola moms who like ask consent to change their baby's diaper and shit. Like that's ridiculous. Okay? That's ridiculous. But this informed consent thing means that they don't know, and neither do you, the ramifications of putting them on the internet for their entire childhoods. Okay? We do know some of the ramifications when it comes to AI specifically, being on CSAM websites, okay, having predators watch them and stalk them, having parasocial relationships, being bullied in school. We have all that evidence from kids who have emerged from these situations. Okay? There is way more than enough evidence that informed consent is very, very important. And he's just like, oh yeah, informed consent. You're a dick. You honestly think that doesn't matter. That informed consent doesn't matter.
My kid
that I posted a picture of my bump.
Hold on. My kid didn't consent to being born.
Yeah, no,
my kid didn't. My kid did.
That's definitely the same. 100% the same. So here's what's called a straw man argument, right? He's saying something that's probably trying to deflect from the real thing, right? My kid didn't consent to being born. No one is saying that they have to. That's a choice that you guys make. Another choice that you guys also make, okay, is to put them on the internet and exploit them. That is still your choice to make, okay? But the informed consent means that when you're going to do something that can affect someone's future, right? I know they're going, being born affects your future. Stupid. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Because the difference is being born and then not being put on the internet. You have the chance at a normal life, a normal childhood, everything else, right? If you are born, then put on to a camera in front of millions of fans every single day of your life, when you go to the hospital and you shave your legs and you have your period, when you have a meltdown, when you get hurt, whatever the case may be, and you go to the dentist, all these things. Okay. There's a big difference. Okay, there's one that is exposing them to millions of people forever on the internet. That's going to stay there forever. One where they aren't. That's the difference. But you know that. And you're just trying to, what they're trying to do is diminish it. And they're trying to, again, that's a straw man that won't work here.
And
Did I consent to going to school as a kid? Hell no. I told my parents.
Also stupid. Also dumb. You're never going to be able to consent to things. You make the choices for your children. Okay? And we get that. And that's, so again, another straw man. Did I consent to having to eat vegetables? You're so stupid for saying it. Okay? But there is a difference when you are exploiting your child, when the thing that you're doing could have a major, serious impact on their future, when you just don't have to do that thing. So yeah, make the good choices for your kids. They're not going to know what time to go to bed. You tell them. They're not going to know what to eat. You make them eat what they're going to eat. You conform them to the rules and the things inside your family. That's fine. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. But when it comes to this thing, this is very unique to like parenting and the future and social media. This is so unique because you're taking something away from them from their future that they'll never get back, which is their privacy, their digital footprint and everything else. That's completely different. You're taking it away from them and they'll never be able to get it back. Do you understand that? You are taking something that belongs to them to their future and you are taking it away from them without their consent. Because when they turn 18, they're going to say, I wish you hadn't have done that. And maybe something went wrong, or you showed something, or something came out about their kids in AI or whatever, and you will regret it. You can never go back from that. That's the point. That's a lot different than me like, you have to go to school and learn and be educated. Okay, that's way different. Why? Like, that's why these people shouldn't even be parents. They have no cohesive arguments about something so simple as the protection of your children.
Dad, I want to go to school.
I'm sure there's going to be people that take and run with this and be like, Jatie Vlogs is so terrible because blah, blah, blah.
They mean me.
Crazy.
Because blah, 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 not blah, blah, blah. You just admitted here that you don't care about your kids' informed consent, about the thing you're going to take away from them from their future. Okay, I don't care if you don't want your kids to go to school, or you do, or you put them in private school, or you put them in whatever, Play-Doh school. I don't care about that stuff, okay? But if you put it on the internet, you are leaving it open for everybody to comment on. Okay? That kid will not have a choice whether or not he or she has a big segment of hate on the internet. What if they want to do something different, right? What if they get hurt? What if they have a meltdown? What if they say something that they don't want on the internet 20 years from now? Okay, because we all know how that goes. It's so much different. You don't exposing them to, it's like it's as simple as this. You are exposing them to predators. Even if you don't care about the other stuff, you are fully exposing them to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of predators on the internet. That's it. And you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to.
Oh, crazy. Like, honestly,
I just think it's so funny.
Opinions.
It's like, oh, well, your kid didn't consent to being on social media. It's like, okay,
I didn't consent to the spankings I got.
Oh my God, stop with the straw man arguments, you assholes. You didn't consent to the spankings? Okay. Was it on the internet for everybody to watch? What are you saying right now? What a stupid moron. She's equating being spanked as a child to having your entire future possibly ruined by the internet and it being watched by predators. Why do you guys do this?
Made me take like a picture in first grade. I didn't consent to it, but who the hell cares?
I can't believe I have to keep saying this. The difference is that picture that you took that's embarrassing from grade 1 isn't shared with millions of people in the internet, possibly turned into a meme, which does happen, by the way, and ruins a lot of people's lives. Okay? That's the difference, moron. It's in a book in your living room as opposed to Instagram. Do you guys really not understand? Like, this is what's scaring me. They honestly think they have a cohesive argument right here. They think that they're like, they think this is a gotcha. Oh my God. I didn't consent to having a picture taken when I was 1 that sits in my parents' wall on the stairs. Okay? That's so different than this, because that picture can't affect your future. Okay? That picture likely won't be turned into a meme. That picture won't come to bite you on the ass later. Okay? Those jokes you said with your friends when you were a kid and a teenager, they're not coming out on the internet because they weren't tweets. Right? That stuff affects you because it is solidified in a place that will never go away. Okay? It's there forever and can be augmented now by artificial intelligence. That's even more dangerous than it ever has been. So spare me your shitty arguments, okay? Because they're really dumb. You guys are dumb.
It gets on Facebook, it's out there.
Yeah, no, because they didn't post on social media. I'm like, okay, but all that shit's on Facebook now.
Okay? What do you mean it's all on there now?
Yeah.
Like the thing is what's so interesting is like whether you're an influencer or not, I think that like moms take pictures of their kids
not even
and they
posting pictures.
Let her finish, asshead.
It's more so like the amount of comments I've seen.
She was going somewhere. She's like, you know what? No matter what, if you're an influencer or not, take a picture and put it on the internet. Don't. You don't have to. You don't. And that is where the world is going right now. Even in Germany, you're not supposed to anyway. And she's trying to be like, yeah, so they do it, so we'll do it. No. The difference also, if you want to get into semantics here, or whatever your name is, Jatie, Katie, okay, is that the people who are regos who just post pictures on Facebook and stuff like that, yeah, it's not the most safe thing in the world, but they're not influencers in front of millions of eyeballs, okay? That's a big difference. Also, they're not making money off their children. Also a big difference. But also, I think you're right. Maybe don't put a ton of pictures of your kids on the internet no matter what. But that's that's a huge difference. You guys monetize it. It is your living. So get wrecked. You guys fail. Did they finish school? Did they read books?
Like, oh, your kid didn't consent to this. I'm like, my kid didn't consent to being brought into this room.
Why are you saying the same damn shit over and over again? Now, I know they're going to watch this, and I hope they can come back with a rebuttal. You know what, JD Vlogs? I promise you this. You come on my show, I will be super respectful. Let's have a debate, and let's talk about consent. Let's debate whether or not this is right or not. I need you to come up with a cohesive argument where informed consent doesn't matter, like you're saying right now. You are literally you're being jocular about the idea that informed consent doesn't matter. You're out of your mind, okay? Your argument sucks, and you keep saying the same thing. My kid didn't consent to me coming in. That's completely different, dumbass.
They didn't.
And she's like, good one, bro. High five. You got him. No, no, you didn't. You made it worse.
They didn't tell me like, hey, like,
no,
you guys can have a baby now. Like,
there's a reason.
That's not how it works.
What? You can't even argue with people like this, right? Because in their brain, they think they like, got him. Boom, snap. They do the finger thing. No. You idiots. A straw man will not work here, especially considering exploitation of children. Okay? That's the biggest thing. The biggest difference between what you're saying and what I'm saying is that you guys are going to exploit and put this kid on the internet. That's like literally bringing your kid onto a stage with millions of people watching them. Just, would you do that? And like, hey, do something. Here, I'm going to change their diaper. I'm going to have a bath. We're going to shave their legs. We're going to go to that. Like, I know you think you're disassociated from it, but that's who you are. So, Susie down the road with 12 Facebook friends, a little bit different. The Jatie vlogs with 1.2 million subscribers. A little bit different. Also, yours is monetized and you're collecting advertising dollars, putting your child into that shit. Okay, I don't care if your kid has the best life ever because of the money that they've brought in. They will never be able to consent. You have taken away their privacy. That's a big one here. That's their privacy. They'll never get back. You can never give that back to them. Okay? And you can never know who's actually trying to get at them, predator-wise. You never know. They are a target more than normal kids are targets, by the way. For sure they are. And that happens all the time. But let's put it this way. If you got two kids in the same class, same age, same everything, okay? They even look alike. One of them, their parents is an influencer, 5 million subscribers across a bunch of channels, okay? And they post tons of pictures of kids and information. The other one, same thing, right? But their mom has 100 followers, okay? Posts the same type of pictures, same type of content. Which one's going to be more of a target? Right? The one with 5 million eyes watching them or the one with 120 in a private Facebook group? The one that has 5 million is going to have thousands, if not tens of thousands of predators watching them. Okay? Big, way more of a target. Even just on that alone, you should never do this. Just on that. If there's a slight chance there's one predator watching you and you knew it, would you put your kid on there? If you knew there was a predator taking videos and images of your child and putting them in AI technology and changing them into whatever they want, would you do it? Right? If you knew there was one, would you do it? You wouldn't. Most people wouldn't. Right? And that is what they're doing.
There's a reason why when you go to the doctor, where you go places, you have a legal guardian. They make the authority of your choices up until you're 18 years old because there's a reason. They're your parent. They make choices for you.
Okay. No one's arguing that you don't have the ability and legal ability to make these choices for your children. What we're arguing is that you're making the wrong choice for your children. Okay, it's not illegal yet, and it should be, but it eventually will be. Okay? It's not illegal. And yes, you do make that choice, but it is the wrong choice. A lot of people make the choice to hit their children. That is the wrong choice. A lot of people make really shitty choices for their children, and they're wrong. Parents can be wrong. So what their argument is that no matter what parent choice is right, it's not right. It is just as bad as abusing your children. I'm sorry, it's just as bad. It's just a different kind of abuse. Exploitation is abuse. And it is against their informed consent.
Anyways, I don't know. It's to me, that's the funniest one because it's like,
why is it so funny? I hope I've clarified it for you and it's not so damn funny anymore. Because I promise you this, you continue down this path and you exploit this child for most of their childhood up until they're ready to go. That child is not going to want to be around you anymore when they get out of this world. Because you guys are fake ass mofos. All of you are. All influencers are fake. Every single one of them are fake. They show you something that's fake. Because nobody can create nobody is like this in real life. Like I've said a million times before, most people have structured normal lives. Kids go to karate, swimming lessons, school, jobs, maybe 1-2 vacations a year if you're lucky. Okay, that's it. That's most people. These people are like, oh, we're going over here at Disneyland 16 times a year. Like, they're not normal. Everything that they choose to do as a family is for content. It is made up for advertising revenue. Right? It's not normal. These kids see their parents when the camera's off versus when the camera's on, and the pressure when they're looking for content and everything else. And you know what happens when shit gets boring and nobody wants to watch them anymore? Uh-oh, Tommy fell off the swing. Hospital visit, 250,000 views. Oh, that got us some views. Let's continue that. Oh, Dent, wonder why this video has 1.6 million views when the thumbnail is my kid's wide open mouth. Huh? Interesting that. Right? That's where this leads to. Because you guys already are shit. Okay? And so if the only thing you're going to do now is exploit a child to continue this lifestyle that you have been handed, then you're going to continue to do that. None of these people realize that they got to get out of this in order to protect their children, and they won't. Because it's easy effing money. You know, these people are like, what do you do when you go meet other people? Oh yeah, we're YouTubers and we exploit our children on the internet. Do you feel good about that?
Well, yeah, when I was 6 years old, I didn't consent to going to school, but my parents
Why do you?
do it.
Okay, you said the same shitty arguments over and over again. That's so stupid. Now let me ask you this, Josh. You didn't consent to go to school, but they forced you to go to school. Now was that a net positive or a net negative for your life? Right? Well, clearly you didn't do very well in school. But let's be real. Was school a good thing for you or a bad thing? Okay, so that's stupid. Was being born a good thing or a bad thing? Was your parents telling you what to eat and what time to go to bed and have good, healthy habits? Was that a good thing or a bad thing? It was against your consent, but they were net positives for your life. Okay, let's be real. But exposing a kid on the internet, exploiting them for cash and putting everything out there, that's a net negative. There's no net positive to that. So let's be real. You stupid asshole.
I didn't consent to wearing jeans every day because my school had a dress code, but I
Oh my God.
did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, totally the same as exploiting children, wearing jeans at a private school. Totally the same. You buttholes.
I'm saying, like,
It sounds like a little
I
silly.
could do an entire.
It does. Listen to her. That sounds a little silly because what he just said was effing silly. That was stupid.
podcast on
No.
that.
Yeah, do an entire podcast on it. Please do.
That's a whole
pointless.
different topic.
Yeah,
than,
let's
like,
do it.
Making your kid film all these videos and doing things once they're older and they like really don't want to, or even if they're younger and they hate the camera. If you're doing something your kid doesn't like, that's just kind of being like a bad parent. That's
But at
different.
this,
Okay. You're close now, Katie. You ready? Isn't this what they all say? They're like, well, when they're older, they can choose. Okay, great. That's good for you, Supermom. But what if they're older? They can't choose that you put the first 6 years of their life on the internet when they didn't know anything. That's the whole point. There's a space between this and a kid then finally understanding. Okay? That space we're talking about. They can't get that back. So you're saying if your kid came to you, went 6 years old or 7 or whatever, when they're finally cognizant of everything, right? And say, I don't want to be on camera anymore. You're going to say no. Likely you won't, but let's say you are. Okay? But what about this part? They weren't able to tell you that. But now they're older and they're like, I don't like it now, so they don't like it then. So are you going to take it down? No, you've already made all the money on it. That's this whole section is what we're talking about. They cannot give informed consent here. But you're like, well, later if they do, then I will. Then what about this part? This is the part that matters. Dick. Man, I'm running out of dickweed phrases and shit. You freaking crusty bungholes. I don't know.
time, like, you'll see like all these athletes, like for example, Tiger Woods. We watched the documentary. Like, there was so many times, like, even like it was filmed where Tiger was like, oh, like, Dad, like, I want to go play with my friends. I don't want to golf. And it's like, this is definitely a little different topic.
That is a bad example, Josh, you dumbass.
But like,
Tiger, if you're gonna force your kids to be in elite sports, at least they're not being exploited. Okay, at least they're like, if there's a scale, like people say I don't have any gray area, there's a little bit of gray area. Okay, if you're gonna force your kids to be in sports from a young age, and I think that's really important. I think they should be in some kind of group club sport where they're teaming up with people, and well, golf's not really a team sport, but you know what I mean, like something where they're owning skills and learning how to be good at something and like being coached and all that stuff. That's really important. Now, I'd almost do that if my kid didn't like it. Okay, I'm like, no, you're doing this, even though, I'll let them choose which thing they're doing, but they're doing something. Okay, that's really important. Still way different than this. This isn't something, it's more grooming than it is like coaching. If they're coaching to me on camera to laugh and smile, just look at some of these vlogs out there, man. These kids are like, they have the fakest ass smiles you've ever seen. You can see the pain behind their eyes. They don't like doing this. Children want to be normal children. And none of these kids that I've ever seen have normal childhoods. None of them do. They are forced to do content. They're forced to be in advertisements. They are bullied at school. Not all of them. A lot of them are, though. Okay? They are forced to do this against their will. And when they finally have that opportunity to say, I don't want to do it anymore, they are guilted into doing it. Well, then we can't have this life that we're leading. We're going to be poor. And we've heard that. So you guys suck.
like, he made his kid be disciplined to something, and look at him now.
He made his kid be disciplined in golf, but that's absolutely the same as exploiting your child on the internet.
What's
the outcome of your child being exploited on the internet? They're going to be a pro YouTuber? What's the outcome?
I said Tiger Woods is a good example.
Yeah, he's not a good
Tiger
example.
Woods had like a lot go wrong.
Okay,
with it.
scandals regardless, but
Okay, I see your point.
Katie's right here. Josh is a dumbass. She's like, I can't believe you just used Tiger Woods. And you know what? She picked up on it real quick, right? So Tiger Woods did all these things and then became like this most scandalous dickhole in the world, right? Cheating on his wife and being all that kind of guy, whatever. He had this nice guy persona, but like in the back end, he's like a sex addict weirdo because like the control that his parents had over him and forced him to do those things. That's similar to what happens on these things. I think what is it? Anyway, one of the kids is like ready to spill the tea on the family. Right? That's what these kids learn. They know what tea spilling means. They know in the world of YouTube and social media how they can get back at their parents. They can exploit or they can extort their parents. These people come out with some of the biggest horror stories you've ever heard in your life. He's like, Tiger Woods is a golfer.
I'm saying like a professional athlete or certain things that where it's like they're very happy with the success and stuff they have in their life. But also I think there's a fine balance between that. Like even think like child actors. It's like they might be successful, but they might have trauma because their parents pushed them too hard.
Okay, Katie's admitting everything right here. She's saying it. She knows, she's read the books, everything. Jeanette McCurdy, I'm glad my mom died, the book she wrote. Her family was reliant on her career, and they forced her to do it and guilted her into doing it. She hated it, okay? And Katie's onto that right now. She's saying that happens, and that happens in family vlogger world too, and yet she doesn't seem to care. That's really weird to me.
A little different, because I've heard some crazy stories about that industry. Let's not get into it.
Why not? He doesn't want to get into it because he knows it'll prove him wrong. That's why he doesn't want to get into it, right? Because you're bringing your kid into that same type of world. YouTube exploitation is almost as bad as Hollywood exploitation. The only thing that's different between Hollywood exploitation and YouTube is that YouTube is real life. Hollywood, they're acting. Okay, they're all children are acting, but they're all being exploited, every single one of them. Okay, I am not for child acting. I get, but again, the one thing that they do have, at least, if we're looking for the silver lining, is protections with Coogan laws, with education laws, with child labor laws. Okay? And also the fact that you don't know their real life. And their real life is on the internet. It's not fake. Some of it is. Some of it's obviously conjured up, but it's not. Going to the hospital and doing all these like shaving your legs and starting your period and all this stuff, that stuff's not fake, everybody. That stuff is not scripted. That's real life that they're putting on the internet. So there is a difference. Okay? And I'm not saying I would never want my child to be famous and I would never put them through something like that. But at least there are some protections like there are not for these kids.
Because,
but I think,
well, let's not.
I think as long.
Why not get into it, Josh? Get into it.
It's like you're a parent and you have your like child's best interest. At the end of the day, you're going to be making decisions for them because they're a child.
So there we go. Let's stop there again. These people are so dumb. But this is a good video. This is a good video because they're saying the things we need them to say so we can rebut. If you have your child's best interest at heart, Katie, honestly, and I think that you guys want to. Okay, I think that you think you do. Okay, but is it in your child's best interest to put them on the internet from the point of birth, and this point conception? These people will tell you when they conceived. Okay, is that in their best interest? Knowing what we know now. And what do we know now? Predators watch your kids. There are parasocial relationships developed with your kids with strangers on the internet who want to watch them grow up. Okay, there is the danger of artificial intelligence, which can do whatever it wants to the images and videos you put up of your child and you. Okay. Now, is that beneficial to your child? Like the future, you know, they might be bullied when they're older in school for something they said or did or whatever. Jealous, they have people that are jealous of their success and will use anything to get at them, right? Is that a net positive? Is that benefit? You're just saying you want what's best for your kid. Is that what's best for your kid? Or is giving them a normal childhood away from the cameras and keeping their privacy best? That's just one simple question you have to ask these people who say that thing. She's giving you two scenarios. You want what's best for your child. So here's the scenario one, here's scenario two, what's best for your child? It's so easy to answer. But she'll say, well, it's best that I do what I want. No, it's best you keep your child private. That's it. There's no other answer. You can't. Because if there's a chance that there's one predator coming after your child, then what's best was keeping them private. And there is going to be more than one predator. I promise you that. Okay? So get wrecked.
Because if you let a kid make all the decisions, then why wouldn't you just let them go in the road and get hit by a car?
Wow. Very, very good observation. It's definitely the same because your kid isn't making this decision. You're making it for them. You dumb ass. Where are these people? The logic is actually crazy to me. You're making this choice for your kid. So the right thing to say is like, I pushed my kid in front of the car on the street. That's what we're saying here. Not that your kid wants to go and run in the street. You're putting your kid in the street. Are you serious?
Not like your kid have the consent if they're going to run in the road or not. It's kind of
wow,
like,
you guys totally missed the point, but thanks.
There's a reason you protect your kids and do certain things for your kids.
Yeah.
Right, there is. And you just said it. But then again, answer the question. Is putting your kid on the internet for strangers to watch protecting them? Be real. Answer the question.
Also. But anyways,
we made this worse.
Sure, we will get so much hate as time goes on for being parents.
That's not hate. What we're trying to tell you is that you're wrong. And then you made this stupid argument like, why would you not let your kid run the street? How was that? Again, what does that have to do with exploiting your kid on the internet? You moron. You're such a dummy.
Influencer.
You should get hate. You know what? If you're going to exploit your kid, you deserve hate. You deserve to be bullied. You should. If you exploit children or hurt children in any way, I don't care what way it is, in any way, if you take the most vulnerable of our society and you take advantage of them, you exploit them, you hurt them, or you target them, okay? You deserve to be hated and to be bullied. I don't care what it takes, okay? I don't care. Minus violence. You don't deserve violence. Nobody deserves violence. But if what we have at our disposal is to call you out, you absolutely deserve it and more, okay? You deserve it.
Or even just people in general that have kids get kind of hate on for the way that they do things because it's not the way that other people want them to do things.
Yeah, like exploiting.
Like, honestly, I feel like we've never really cared about the hate. Like, I don't
Oh, yeah. You don't care what they hate. You just did like a 10-minute segment on it, though. I get it.
Oh, and I feel like, honestly, a lot of our audience is like super sweet and like...
We got to move on, though. We're not moving on.
You better move on, bro, because you guys made that shit way worse.
We're moving on like 10 times.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Have I ever gave you the ick?
Oh my God. Look at that. From that, she wants to keep talking about it. So why don't you guys just do a whole video on the topic? You guys said you could talk about it forever. Let's hear all your logic. Because if it's anything like I just heard here, you guys have a lot to work on. Okay. You've got a lot to think about, a lot to consider, and you have not considered any of it. I hope you're watching my video. Okay, because that wasn't snark what I just did there. I was trying to educate you and shut down your straw man arguments. And just so you know, that shit won't fly in the real world, especially when laws are made. Why do you think there are laws being drafted right now against this? You think that's silly? You think they're silly? They're being drafted. It's because when the government has to step in and tell you to parent, it means that people don't give a shit about parenting. Okay, there are laws against abusing your children. Should you be able to anyway? Right? No, you shouldn't be able to abuse your children. That's why laws are put in place. It's not taking away your freedom of whatever. If the law compels you to not exploit your children, that means that people have gone too far. That's it. I'm sorry. And you know, I'm a libertarian. I'm against tons of government control. There are certain things that you just, sorry, there are laws, seatbelt laws, okay, speeding laws. There are laws in place because humans inherently are stupid, right? We are dumb as a species. And so there is shit government has to do, step in and make changes because people will take advantage of loopholes. They will exploit children for money. And that's got to stop, man. The girls secretly want to touch. I want to do that one. 333. We need to lessen this up. 3004. The girls really want to touch guys' buttholes. I need to know this myself, actually. And she represents all women. So let's hear it.
I was one of those guys.
Shut up. I don't even know what the joke was, but it wasn't funny.
Oh, I'm not touching your phone.
Ow, I got a cramp. Okay. So, okay. Hypothetically speaking.
Like, excuse me.
I'm just curious, how does that come up in, like, conversation?
I think just like you said. Touch it.
Is that how it goes?
Don't touch buttholes. It's poop in there.
Josh and I will get
I was
these
trying
moods.
to play that scenario in my head, and like it just made me laugh thinking about it.
We'll get in these moods.
Like, I don't want to talk about these people anymore. F that. That was good enough. We got enough out of that conversation. So every time one of these family vloggers comes and does, I like what they do. I like when they do it. At least they're addressing the topic. I get that. I'm glad they do. But I've yet to hear one cohesive argument. Not even one that came close where I was like, I can consider that. Not even one that came close that even touched the rim. Some people will say there are influencers out there that the only way they can make money is by doing OnlyFans, and that's how they can do it. You could even say that that's an argument, right? I don't think it's a good enough one because as humans, we are like, if you really loved your children, you'll make shit happen. Okay, that's just the way it works. And people are very good at life. A lot of us all grew up poor in the 80s and 90s. Our parents didn't turn to porn stars to do it. Okay, it's just more accessible now, and it's becoming more thing. You know, that type of stuff. And influencing is very much the same. These people are like, you know, they're just PG rated OnlyFans, right? You get a look into their life and everything else. They talk about sex, they do everything else, minus showing everything. And sometimes they show a lot anyway, right? Especially with the outfits they wear. So you're in this world, in this culture where kids don't belong. They just don't belong here. I don't care how innocent it looks or whatever you're doing. It just doesn't work. You know one thing that's really hitting me? A lot of these people do these like, I don't know what they're called, like homesteading videos. Okay, it's great. If you want to teach your kids to live on a farm and teach them homeschool and do all that stuff and have your kids, like that's a beautiful life for children. Okay, that's probably, I wish we all could do that, right? I wish the internet would just shut off and we had to go back to living like, you know, a little house in the prairie someday. But even those kids, you know, those parents are crunchy granola people, but they're all like, look how old fashioned we live and all this stuff, and we have like, you know, sourdoughs going and all this stuff. But they're still utilizing the internet as influencers to put their children on there. It's still dangerous. Okay, don't get it twisted, people. These people are very, very, very intentional about what they're doing. Because they think about it a lot. They do. Look at the arguments they try to come up with here. They do. They try to justify it, and it never will be justified. You can never justify this. Their main argument boils down to this: is consent, right? Well, I didn't consent to going to school. I didn't consent to wearing jeans. I didn't consent to, you know, going to bed when I wanted to, all this stuff. My parents made those choices for me. And yeah, we get that. But you're consenting to something a little bit different. Or they're saying something like, well, why your kid wants to run the road, why won't you let them? That's not being nice. Well, that's so stupid, because that argument would mean that you are literally pushing your kid into the road. You're making that choice for them. They got it all confused and they made it all wrong. And they made it all worse, obviously, because they haven't given this any thought. And the reason they don't want to really give it any thought is because they actually don't want to feel guilty for what they're doing. Already, by doing a segment that long in this video, they already feel guilty. These people know the dangers. Otherwise, they wouldn't talk about it. They'd be all aloof to it. Oh, what? It's dangerous? They know it's dangerous. Otherwise, they wouldn't do videos on it all the time or try to debunk it, because damn, they're dumb. They made this really worse. They really did. Idiots. So you guys just took it to a new level of dumbery. So, everybody, take a deep breath. Blow out all the bullshit. You really need to. Blow that Jatie Vlogs bullshit out of your head. But these videos are important. I'm glad they do them, because then we get a chance to debunk the living garbage out of it. And I hope they watch it, and I hope they respond. They won't, because they're chicken. They don't have any good arguments. If my haters and people are like, well, debate. What people want to debate me about is like, if I'm mean to people. There's no debate, people. I'm mean. I'm a bully to these people. Yes, there's no debate about it. I'm not trying to debate that. Okay? That's true. But let's remember who it is that I'm directing my vitriol and my bullying at. Right? Let's remember that. Everybody keeps, for some reason, forgets that. And they're always like, well, I don't like child exploitation, but he's mean. I don't give a shit what you think. Okay? But the debate, there's no debate. I'm angry and I'm mean to these people because they deserve it, because of what they are doing. That's it. There's no debate. Yes, I can be a dickhead to these people on purpose. And I'm not going to stop. Cool? All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for being amazing, incredible, and valuable. And I will see you when I see you.